Hello, I hope you are well. In this video we will see what's the shrewdest, smartest maneuver you've ever seen in business. This video is brought to you by the Question Response channel. Thanks to Kernan, Sriraman Madhavan, Shrayash Singh and Jim Thomason for their answers to this question. We'll start with Kernan's first answer.
Uber. They positioned themselves as a ride-sharing service as opposed to a ride-hailing taxi service. This allowed them to get around the regulations imposed on taxi companies, giving them a significant competitive advantage. By the time taxi companies could retaliate, Uber was too powerful. Now Uber can afford big fancy lawyers and even better, politicians. Bye-bye taxi.
What do you think? We will continue with Sriraman Madhavan's answer.
Harvesting the brainpower of 750 million internet users to digitize books. If you haven't been living under a Dwayne Johnson for the last decade, you've probably seen this. It's called a CAPTCHA and it was used to make sure that a website user is actually human, because computers had, and to an extent, are still having, a tough time reading text like that. It literally stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to tell computers and humans apart. And when thousands of websites started using it in the mid-2000s to ensure bots don't screw them over, roughly 200 million CAPTCHAs were typed every single day. And assuming each one takes about 10 to 12 seconds, that's approximately a gazillion minutes of essentially wasted human effort. Luis van Ahn, one of the founders of CAPTCHA, explains in this amazing TEDx talk that he then realized that massive human effort could be put to use to digitize all books, to make them searchable and easily accessible. So, they built reCAPTCHA. You may have noticed that at some point, you had to type 2 words instead of just one. Here, one word is used to genuinely check if you're human. And the other word is from a scanned copy of an old book and is showed to you to basically ask you to digitize it. Google then acquired it in 2009. And guess what? reCAPTCHA was used, mainly on pages that couldn't be scanned properly, to digitize all books on Google Books, to make them searchable. We all did it together. And we did it for free. And Google has moved on to image recognition using reCAPTCHA to get labeled datasets for its AI research. And we are still doing it for free. Time to add senior data labeling expert at Google Inc. to the resume, am I right? Cheeky smiley face.
We continue with Shrayash Singh's answer.
A roadside food vendor in Sector 11 Dwarka, New Delhi. This guy sells Naan Thali. His business strategy is one of the mind-blowing strategy I have seen till date. One fine day, we stopped at his Carvan and decided to eat. We asked him prices. He said 50 rupees for Aalu Naan, potato naan, 120 for Choor Choor Naan, and 140 for Paneer Naan. I thought difference of 70 rupees is huge and maybe it's too cheap. I ordered Choor Choor Naan and it was one small weird naan. Then another guy came there with 2 huge naan in his plate. All the dishes, curries were same. His plate was worth 50 rupees only. Then I noticed most people, especially women, who come by car order expensive one and bikers, working people order cheaper one. He sells same product at different prices. Wait, it's not over yet. There are 2 more vendors just opposite side of the road. They are his people only. Same product, same quality but prices are 20% cheaper. Rickshaw Wallace eat there. Just wow. He caters to all the population groups at same place but different prices.
The following answer is from Jim Thomason.
I will share a story my dad told me about a stunt he pulled when he was in college. This is hardly the biggest deal around, but for a college kid it was pretty amazing. And I like bragging about my dad. I may have a few of the details wrong, and I'm sure I'm misremembering the numbers, but the gist is the same. To earn some extra money, he delivered pizzas a few days out of the week. He went to college north of Chicago, in close proximity to Great Lakes Naval Base. And as you can imagine, the sailors in the barracks ordered a good amount of pizza. But he realized that some of the barracks he'd go into all the time, others he went into very infrequently, and still others he never went into at all. That's relevant, since he finally figured out why. But before he did anything on it, he went to his boss at the pizzeria and proposed changing how he was paid. This was back in the 60s, and he made approximately $2 per hour and worked about 5 hours on a shift for $10 in the night. They usually moved about $100 worth of pizza in that time. He proposed that he could increase business, a lot. And he'd do it if instead of getting paid hourly, he got paid 10% of the receipts. His boss hemmed and hawed and didn't want to do it, but my dad said look, they sell about $100 worth of pizza. If he doesn't increase sales, he's still getting paid $10 and there's no cost to the business. If business goes down, my dad takes a hit too. But if business goes up, everybody wins. The guy agreed. Here's what my dad had realized. Back in those days, the barracks each had a single payphone at one end and a bulletin board with various cards for various local businesses. Some of the barracks had few local pizzerias listed and they get called often. Some of them had a lot of local pizzerias and they get called less often. And he assumed that the barracks where they never got a delivery didn't have their card up at all. So what he did was, as he'd get into one of the barracks, He'd approach a sailor and make a proposition. If the guy made sure that only their pizzeria's card was up on the board, that my dad would get them a pizza for free. It was with the caveat that it was only during his working hours, and that the guy absolutely could not mention it to the owner. It was strictly a deal between the sailor and the delivery guy. Over time, they agreed, and they converted more and more of the barracks to just having their pizzeria up. He even talked his way into some of the unknown barracks. That was easy. Just claim you're delivering a pizza for Smith or Jones or whatever and get in the door. Then you stand there and call out pizza for Smith a few times, say, shit. I guess it was a prank call. Anybody want to buy a pizza half off? Inevitably somebody would want it, and then you hook them up with the same deal. And the short of it, sales went from about $100 per night up to about $800 per night. And they were all delivering to the same place, so it's not as if he was driving around a lot more, just loading more pizza in the car. He never did tell the owner how he pulled it off. As a bonus, he said none of the sailors ever took advantage of him. They'd call from time to time and get a free pie, but they certainly didn't abuse it, which was to my dad's benefit, since any of the free pizzas he just paid for out of his pocket. Wins all around.
This is the end of the video. I hope you have more answers. I hope the video has you more. If so, you can subscribe and activate the bell to miss any video. Also remember to leave a like. We are coming to the end of this video. You can continue the debate on this question in the comments with the community. See you soon.